No AI was used in the production of this video. It's not hard at all to see the appeal of the Nintendo DS. It's bright and colorful, the controls are simple and easy to understand, and it's got a huge library of DS and Game Boy Advance games, ready to pick up and play at a moment's notice. But how do you get to all those games without carrying your several $1,000s worth library with you all the time? I made a video a little over 6 years ago discussing one of the countless DS flashcarts on the market at that point, which was a DS TT Demon clone called the R4i SDHC Gold Pro. While its original software contained a game-breaking feature that would render the product useless into the future, using third-party software like Retro Game Fan's YS menu transformed the cart into a nearly flawless way to experience the DS. But note the use of the word nearly. See, while YS menu makes the cart usable for almost every scenario, sans Wii connectivity, there are still a couple big hurdles left to overcome. Power draw, DSi compatibility, and arguably the most important of the three, an open source design. DS flashcarts are, and have always been, notoriously power hungry, turning what once was an all-day battery life into something unpredictable. In my testing, a normal copy of Mario Kart DS on a DS Lite I had lying around at maximum brightness ran for 4 hours, 28 minutes, and 17 seconds, while a ROM dump of the game on the R4 Gold Pro from my last video ran for 3 hours, 56 minutes, and 24 seconds instead. That's a noticeable decrease. Now, obviously, 4 hours and 28 minutes isn't an all-day battery life to begin with, but when you're using a combination of sleep mode and standard play, it can be. And flashcarts have a tendency to bug out and use way more power than they're supposed to in sleep mode. My R4i Gold 3DS Plus definitely does, but it's not something I can easily measure, so I excluded it as a metric from testing. Anyway, when the DSi came out, it launched with the Nintendo DSi shop, which was home to downloadable DSiWare titles, taking advantage of the extra processing power, memory, and cameras present in the Nintendo DSi itself. Select Nintendo DS games also used these, like Pokemon Black and White, and some physical games were even DSi exclusive. Anyway, there's never been a big mainstream DS flashcart that could run these titles, unless you've got a gigabrain, meaning anyone trying to play these games was either out of luck, stuck running them in DS mode, or needed to hack their console and run them with Twilight Menu or something. With all these flashcarts all over the place, most being clones of a clone of a clone, it's been a difficult task to track down which specific cart you have if you need to, say, reinstall the software on a new SD card. And if you do find the software, maybe it won't work because it turns out you have an R4i -SDHC card, not an R4i SDHC card. Ugh. Wouldn't it be better if there were an open source board design with open source software so we could make our own flashcarts running purpose-built software and firmware so we know exactly what it's doing and we can modify it to add whichever features we want? Well, that's exactly what we got last November. We live in an exciting era for Nintendo DS modding. There's a new DS flashcart on the scene, and its software and hardware are in a mature state that make it well worth discussing. Say hello to the DS Pico. The DS Pico is a new flashcart from LNH-team, comprised of Jericom, Nighthack, Xluma, and Darts 150, that was officially unveiled in November 2025. Absolutely every piece of it is open source, from the firmware, to the game loader, to the game launcher, to the PCB, to the stickers on the box, you name it. As I suggested earlier, this is the first widely available DS flashcart with DSi support, meaning it works with DSiWare, DSi Enhanced, and DSi exclusive games. Of course, DSi mode Homebrew works too. The flashcart takes a little bit of effort to set up, depending on how you get it. Its firmware comes in several flavors, the most popular variant using a new exploit LNH developed called We're Fuxed, which allows it to boot into DSi mode on unhacked DSi and 3DS consoles, but the exploit also requires a ROM dump of WRFU tester version 0.60, which is proprietary. The correct way to do this would be to dump the ROM yourself and build the firmware, which is easiest using this website, or a Docker container, and this video guide I made. Or you could just use the standard version of the firmware that works fine on a DS, DS Lite, or a hacked console. After you build the firmware, you plug a micro USB cable into the cartridge, drag the UF2 file onto the drive, and it's flashed. Next, it's the same as any other flashcart. You just drag and drop the kernel files, which in this case are Pico Launcher and Pico Loader, onto a FAT32 microSD card formatted with 32 kilobyte clusters, then add your game ROMs. If you want to enable DSi support, there's one more file you should add to your microSD card, which dumps said required files from the console onto the microSD card. Run this from a DSi, and you're all set. The very first thing I noticed when I started playing games on the DS Pico was just how fast this thing was. Like seriously, this thing is about the fastest you can expect any flashcart to be on the DS. And that was intentional in its design from the very beginning. Here's a quick comparison shot showing how fast I can scroll through my bag on the DS Pico compared to my R4i Gold 3DS Plus running Pokemon Platinum. I also tried launching a new save file in Zelda Spirit Tracks to see if the anti-piracy protection would kick in and disable the train controls. And luckily, it did not. Additionally, DS Download Play worked as normal, and I was able to connect 3 additional clients. Next, I tested playing online, and just like my last flashcart test, the DS Pico handled it without a hitch. I could play Clubhouse games and race in Mario Kart DS with no problems. I also got a little carried away and decided to try connecting 8 players together in Mario Kart DS, and that totally worked, so that deserves some bonus points. After that, I launched newer Super Mario Bros. DS again, which is a ROM hack, and that also played without issue. Another very easy win. Next, I ran Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii. This was the big test that stumped some flashcarts and menus in my last video, and I am very happy to see the DS Pico passing it with flying colors here. As a bonus, I also tried connecting to My Pokemon Ranch with Pokemon Diamond, which worked as expected. Absolutely no complaints. In my last flashcart video, I also tested a Game Boy emulator, so I figured now would be a great opportunity to mention Pico Launcher's settings file. While it might look a little scary to novices, you could set all your Game Boy ROMs to open with the GameYob emulator automatically, and that's exactly what I did. Everything worked just fine. If you opt to set up something like GBA Runner 3, this also works with Game Boy Advance. Next, I wanted to look into the DSi support, so I fired up 4 swords on the DS Pico with my Capture 3DS, and surprise surprise, everything worked exactly as expected. The same can be said about Flipnote Studio, DSi Camera, Pokemon Black 2, and the only DSi exclusive games I own, Nintendo DSi Demo Videos Volume 1 and 2. As a little bonus challenge, I decided to test the cheat code support, which I didn't really do in my last video. The cart doesn't come with any cheats by default, but you can easily add some by downloading from Dead Skulls Jr.'s cheat database, and then pressing Y before you launch a game. It ended up being super easy to enable and disable cheats, and you can even press X to disable all the cheats in a given game, which is super handy if you forget exactly which cheats you had active when something isn't working quite right. I specifically like this feature because you can use it to make Pokemon Diamond and Pearl play a lot faster, and I'm really glad that it's here. It wasn't around at launch, and I had to rewrite my script for this, but it's here now, and it works exactly as I would have wanted it to. 0 notes. Well, that's all fine and good, but can the DS Pico run the most expensive game in my collection, Deoxys Distribution 2008? Yeah. So, looks good to me. Despite how new the DS Pico is to the scene, it's pretty fully featured. I gave it some new tests I didn't feature in my last gauntlet, and it handled all of them without breaking a sweat. The only function it's outright missing is soft resetting back to the launcher, like most other carts and menus have. But if you've been poking around in the DSi mode hacking Discord server recently, you'd know that it's actively in the works. Or, alternatively, if you have the knowledge, you could even patch that in yourself, since, again, every piece of this puzzle is open source. There are still a couple of other caveats though. There's a DSi XL specific issue where it sometimes shuts down when entering sleep mode, which only seems to happen when you're using specific microSD cards. A small bug I found where deleting a save file in Phantom Hourglass soft blocks you. There's weird graphics corruptions in Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem when using Pico Loader in DS mode, since DMA isn't implemented for SDK5 games yet. And another weird DMA issue which prevents Pokemon Dash from launching, because this game was made super early and didn't follow any standards. But again, everything here is open source, so it's only a matter of time before literally every issue I could name is addressed. I love just about every single thing about the DS Pico. It feels like this product was expertly engineered and specially crafted to appeal to specifically me, and to cater to everything I would specifically want out of a product like this. I seriously can't recommend it enough. This is seriously a must-buy for hardcore DS enthusiasts. I'll leave some links in the description so you can pick one up yourself if you're interested. Also, I should mention, since the DS Pico is open source, it's allowed Mina from Phenom Mod to develop a special infrared version of the DS Pico, boasting an extra 8MB cache, which speeds up game loading and cuts power usage a ton, support for a new compressed ROM format, and Pokewalker compatibility. It's still being tested currently, but I can't wait for it and any other future DS Pico forks to become available. And before I forget to mention, not only are Pico Loader and Pico Launcher open source and available for the DS Pico, but Pico Loader has been ported to just about every popular DS flashcart under the sun. And yes, that includes the R4 Gold Pro from my last video. If you have an old flashcart and you want to give it a cleaner interface, and maybe a little speed boost, this isn't a bad way to do it. And you don't even have to buy anything. You certainly won't get the power savings though. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you did, and subscribe for more. Catch you next time.